when do you want to go next year is the big question. Could we perhaps start planning which Formula One races we're going to go to next year somehow?
Is there a way for us to even know what races are on and when?
Yeah, if only there was a way, if only there was a guy who had a way of telling me when the races were next year. Have I vamped enough for you to... Humane pin.
It says it can't find any results for Formula 1 2025. What the hell, Humane Pin? What are you doing? 2025 F1
Lance Stroll
calendar.
Girlfriend? No,
So-
Humane AI pin.
We knew from the Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari announcement that Australia was going to be returning to the first race of the track because...
Why did we know that?
Because the Australian Grand Prix social media admin blurted out,
Oh.
we're going to be the first race where you get to see Lewis drive in red, and they were not meant to do that.
No. Oh, dear.
So it got announced for realsies with the announcement of the calendar. Australia returns to the opening round, followed by China and then Japan. So we're switching the script a little bit, but there's a real Asia-Pacific feeling to the first few races. Then Bahrain and Saudi Arabia shuffle down, and then it's Miami, Imola, Monaco, blah, 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 blah. So, bit of a change there.
Yeah,
Another change
first, but I've kind of understood the put Bahrain at the start because they're testing there. Then it all just
and
everyone
then
hangs
just
out,
start racing.
like good, great, but I don't
Sure.
think it's enough of an event to.
It's just not
think,
first,
right?
and Australia likes to be first.
Yeah, we're also bringing a lot of good vibe to it. I think it's a nice launch for the sport. Like, there's all this stuff around Albert Park. It's iconic for Formula One. I think they've been resting on their laurels a little bit. It'd be nice to get back. But it's probably there's probably all behind the scenes contracts around who gets to start first, and that contract probably expired. And Australia did some pitching on what to do, stuff like that. I imagine is what happens.
I think that's probably right.
Mm.
I think for sure Melbourne was paying a bit of a tax for being the first race because the tourism is such an important part of it because the government here sinks so much money into it. So they lose heaps of money, but they rely on it, giving an injection of cash into the local economy and blah, 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 blah. But I feel like it's a bit better. I mean, I'm biased, but I feel like it's a better curtain raiser than Bahrain. That's all. No shade on Bahrain. But
no shade on Bahrain. I mean,
sunshine. It's sunshine on Melbourne. There's no shade on Bahrain. Sunshine on Melbourne.
Bahrain. Sunshine on Melbourne. Yeah, I'm here for that. What date is that going to be? It's
March 14 to 16. I've got it right in front of me.
March 14 to 16.
Yeah.
Does that sounds close? When does the Australian Open finish? Is that February?
You're not talking my language anymore.
Tennis.
Yeah, no, I know it's January. Tennis, but I don't care.
Much earlier. I just always
put
those two things
Come
together.
For the tennis
at the
stay
start
for the
of
Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's only 2 months. Yes, I'm trying to line up my personal travel plans.
Okay. But the question you asked before, Suzuka, April 4 to 6.
April 4 to 6. Yeah, man.
Let's
go.
A year from now.
Schedule it in. That makes sense. I don't want to have to get up early to watch the race, so I might as well go.
I may as well fly there.
Might as well just go there. I'm going to be
tired
anyway.
Anything else? I feel like Monaco still falls on... Oh, Monaco falls on... Does it not?
May 25th?
May 25th.
Yeah. Letting the entire world know my birthday. Don't hack my bank accounts, everyone.
Another quick comment from the chat from Drew. Thank you, Drew. If you come to the Canadian Grand Prix, let us know. It'll be a party in Montreal. The Montreal race venue is very accessible. The track is good. The tickets cost far less than the US races, and a thumbs up. I've been to Montreal, not there for the race, but it's a great town, and I'd love to go to the race there one time.
Do you think they'll let us in after we made fun of chassis and French accents earlier?
Oh, dear.
That was
regrettable.
Making fun of the Quebecois, right? So it's all good and fine. Look, and of course, this show is modelled on a famous comedy podcast from that same country.
Yes. Oh, maybe we can go hang out with them as well.
Yeah, exactly.
They just did. While we're on a tangent. This weekend, Graham Clark from Stop Podcasting Yourself did his 24-hour comedy special. Did you watch any?
I didn't watch it, no.
Oh, I watched
many, get a chance. 24 hours. When was I going to be able to watch it?
I maybe watched more than half of it. It was very good.
I said it in the background. Some of us would watch the 24-hour Le Mans, but you'll watch a 24-hour comedy show.
Oh, I should do radio Graham Clark instead of Radio Le Mans. Commentate on his... So for what that is one stand-up comedian standing there reading out jokes, and he has a team of people writing the jokes. So they just sort of scribble out jokes, chuck them in a bucket. He pulls one out and reads it. It's as simple as that, but it goes for 24 hours.
Perfect.
One of my favorite ones from this year was he just picks out this piece of paper and uncrumples it, and he says, "For sale, baby shoes, never worn. Also for sale, ungrateful baby." Pretty great.
Pretty good.
Anyway.
Pretty good. So, calendar,
Yeah.
you mentioned something to me pre-show that I think is interesting, which is the summer break.
You got me worried.
3 weeks in August.
This is bonkers.
But there's also 2 races in August.
Oh, that summer break in August. I can't wait for that summer break in August. How many races are there in August? Oh, there's 2.
Yeah.
One at the start, one at the end. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's like when someone says, like, you can do that piece of work by end of day today or first thing tomorrow. You're like, that's the same.
Great.
It's the same time. Yeah.
You don't have to finish it today, but I do expect it before the start of day tomorrow. Well, thanks.
Thank you so much. Did you ever hand in an assignment at university or similar when you have to, now this is going to sound crazy to any young people listening, that there used to be, when I was at university, first go around at least, you would like print off your essay and you put it in a little slip and you'd have a cover page and you would post it through the letterbox of your lecturer in the office of the school or whatever, and they would stamp it when they received it, and that would be but of course the hand-in times were always like midnight or like 11:59 on the Friday, right? They started putting them on Thursdays because if you got the Friday, you could get in there before they open because they weren't hanging around till midnight, were they?
No.
So they were leaving at 6, 7, and then they just said, look, anything that arrived by the time I opened the front door, I'm going to class as being in. And man, the amount of times I was in there at like 8 a.m. before the university like even opened, posting stuff through that letterbox. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
So why were we talking about that? Anyway.
Look, it's all good.
It's all good. It all counts. It's all going in the show. Yeah, that's not a huge summer break for these teams.
Break.
There's so much, Rob. There's just so much racing these days, and more stuff that counts as well. Like with the sprint races as well. Like there's more on the line all the time, and every practice is so important. And there's also maybe less chance you can improve as well because no one's got any money because there's the cost caps and all that kind of stuff. So, well, I don't know. Any other thoughts on the calendar?
Boy, there's a lot of races.
Yeah, right?
Just so many.
Just a load. Why do we go back up? I always like to think about it in my head of like it kind of goes across Europe and then we drip over to Montreal for we're like Montreal's like, I'm Europe too. It's like, well, why are you in with all of the European races? But you're shipping the American races.
I did. If you've got a spare half an hour, I did make a video for this year's calendar where I got into Google Earth and I flew virtually from one race to another just to watch the Earth spin around and see how far away they all are from each other.
Well, of course, right. I don't buy into that propaganda.
Yeah, of course. It's greenwashing stuff.
You know why.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's the calendar.
Why do they go back to Vegas is my point. Like, we're in the US.
Oh.
Go all the way down. And then we come back up.
My favorite thing about the Vegas race. Recently, Sergio Perez was on the podcast, what's it called? Beyond the Grid with Tom Clarkson.
Yep.
And the intro, they relived the moment at Vegas where the announcer was like, Sergio Perez, and he walks out. It's very awkward because he wasn't meant to walk out or whatever it was. So they could have relived that. And then the guy says, boy, what do you think about that? It was a bit of an awkward moment. And he says, yeah, it was cool. And I was like, oh no. Talking about this very awkward moment. And he's like,
loved it.
Wasn't that awkward? Yeah, it was cool. Make another
really cool.
awkward moment out of that.
Yeah. I don't know. Sergio Perez, he's just...
We'll come to him in a minute. Should we wrap up the calendar? I don't, it's fine. There's lots of races. It's fine.
There's loads of races.
We'll go to Japan.
I just feel for Fernando Alonso because he's so old. Like, how's he going to be able to... He's got to flood all these races. He's got to stay regular. Yeah, he's going to... I don't know. How's he
Pretty sure he... I don't think he's flying economy, or even economy class.
No, you're right. He's getting boats and trains everywhere. Him and Greta Thunberg. Really
boats
care
and
about the
trains. Yeah,
environment.
that's what
That'd be
he's
so
doing.
good. If they actually had to drive from race to race, that would be a way more interesting calendar to me.
Make
Look,
that
Alpine
the
didn't even
race.
turn
That's
up.
included. You start from your home, wherever you are in the world, last one to get to the race, and then do 57 laps.
Oh,
You're the
it's an
winner.
amazing race of races.
Amazing race style.
That would be so good.
It would
Maybe we
be.
could amazing race our way around to all the races. That would be good. Just you and I.
Someone does it. Someone who's very, very rich does it.
Yeah, it just goes to all of them. Yeah. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. But they just fly like the drivers do, right? Business class to
it's
every
true.
place, even first.